Damn it, Tumblr, you have done it again. You have successfully made me a Yuri on Ice fan. At first, I had no interest in watching the series. I'm not a big fan of Yuri and yaoi as a genre, and how it fetishizes LGBT people and caters to its straight audience by giving them fan service instead of accurately depicting our community. And that's what I thought Yuri on Ice was going to be. But I can admit when I was wrong. So let's take a look at why Yuri isn't yaoi by reviewing Yuri on Ice Season 1. I think it goes without saying there will be spoilers ahead, so I'll put a link in the description. If you haven't seen it, you can watch it for free. It's only 12 episodes and it's short, so you can watch it and then you can come back and check out this video. But for those of you who don't know, yaoi and yuri are the Japanese genres for same-sex relationships in media. Yaoi being for men and yuri being for women. A lot of yaoi and yuri don't show realistic depictions of queer relationships. Often these pairings don't even end up together as real couples, only to toy with something that can never come to fruition, wasting the audience's time. And both also rely on stereotypes and hypersexualizing same-sex relationships and making a profit off of misrepresenting what the queer community is about. So, you know, fuck that. Victor and Yuri's relationship really seemed to fit into these categories. This show is really gay and sexual. I can see why the fangirls and boys would ship these two men together. They have a lot of suggestive moments. And if they didn't constantly talk about having girlfriends, just in case you were confused by this, or fucking this, there would be no doubt that these men had feelings for each other and should totally be together. The subtext is slapping you in the face, but because they didn't actually come out and put the two men together, either by saying it or showing it physically, I didn't know if I could count this as representation. It was frustrating. I couldn't peg this relationship down, and I hadn't been this confused about sexuality since high school. Their relationship has all the ingredients of yaoi-ness. It's over-the-top gay, but it still has those reinforcements of straight themes. Yuri and Victor don't establish a romantic coupling, and it does hypersexualize these two men, but I still couldn't bring myself to call it yaoi. And that's because when you really look at Yuri and Victor's relationship arc, these two guys actually feel deeply for one another. It's not in the physicality that makes their romantic relationship genuine. It's the emotional depth. These two men have the emotional connection of two who are falling in love. So moments like their quote-unquote fake proposal aren't cheap or baiting. They're sweet and bring the two closer together and furthers their relationship without actually having to explicitly say it. Sometimes creators are not able to include LGBT content because of regulation, culture, or stigma. And when used well, subtext can be a powerful tool. There's an article written by one of our writers on PrideBrary about some of the history of subtext and its effects that you should totally read. And because we're dealing with subtext, it's important to look at the series through the lens of the country it originates from. And that way we can understand why the creator and writers portrayed Yuri and Victor's relationship in this way. The series comes from Japan, and though Japanese culture has made great strides towards equality in the past, it still seems to be very homophobic and prejudiced towards LGBT people. According to Kanako Otoji, an openly gay Japanese lawmaker, there are no laws against discrimination of the LGBT community which stops same-sex marriage from becoming legal. And though there's a lot of queer media in the form of yuri and yaoi, which again doesn't paint the LGBT community in a positive light, queer issues are rarely discussed openly. Take a look at these two YouTubers who have experienced Japanese LGBT culture and how they feel about it.
So today I wanted to cover a topic that I've never really talked about on my channel. It's about homosexuality in Japan. So this is going to be like purely my opinions and how I see it and how I've experienced it living here for over 6 years. First of all, like being gay is like really invisible here. Like I've been to, you know, many LGBT events and talked to a lot of people, and they say that, you know, I have to try my best to hide it and I can't tell my siblings or my parents, things like that.
Hi there, it's Masaki from Queer ESL. 皆さんこんにちは、Queer 英会話のまさきです。There are so many misconceptions about LGBTQ people, their politics and cultures in Japan, because we see lots of gay men, trans women, and effeminate men on TV every day, and some of them have been around for decades and some of them are new. It's easy to assume that the Japanese mass media have been quite LGBT friendly for decades, but the same is simply not true for lesbian women. One example is Naomi Sagara. She was a very, very popular, award-winning singer, but as soon as she got outed as lesbian, the showbiz industry kicked her out permanently.
If not from their government, there's definitely still self-censorship within Japanese culture, and by extension their media. And because of this, candid depictions of LGBT people is still taboo. So, in Yuri on Ice, though it's heavily implied, Victor and Yuri can't be seen kissing on screen. I mean, yeah, we all know what's happening here, but technically it didn't happen in front of our own two eyes. And since we didn't see it, it obviously doesn't exist because, you know, that's logical. And it passes their censorship test, whether self-given or otherwise. The writers of Yuri on Ice went as far as they thought they could to show these two guys in a relationship, within the boundaries of what their society will allow at the moment. Yuri and Victor's relationship is a big part of the series, but it's not the main focus, which is a nice change of pace. It allows for a more well-rounded story, which, again, kind of looks like a typical sports story from the outside, but it's much more than that. It's about Victor, Yuri, and Yuri number 2. These names are fucking confusing. It's about these three guys who are trying to find their way in life, and two of them happen to want to take that journey together. These are characters people can relate to. There's Yuri's crippling insecurity, but his determination to want to overcome it. There's Victor's passion for his work, but the ability to feel lost because of it. And then there's Yurio's love for his family, that makes you feel like you want to do and can do everything for them. Ice skating is just the really flamboyant backdrop that allows these people to be in the same vicinity of one another. The story is really about love, all different types of love. And if you look at it, both boys skate to that theme in their programs, and it's revealed why Victor chose this for them. When they're listening to their potential music for their sets, Yuri and Yurio want to skate to the innocence of love and the passion of it, respectively. But Victor instead says they should skate the opposite of what the audience expects of them, because it'll be a surprise. And it does. It surprises the one in the show and us as an audience. As the show progresses, you remember that Yurio isn't just an intolerable little shit. He's just a kid who had to grow up too fast. He was thrust onto the world stage because of his talents, and he puts on a hard exterior made of cockiness, but also a shield to protect himself. Most of his family isn't around. It's only his grandpa who seems to give a damn about him, making him want to shut himself off that much more from the world. The theme of innocence fits him, because it's as if he needs to find it again. And once he does, he's able to open himself up, and rather than just seeing everyone as an adversary, he's able to make real friends. Yuri, on the other hand, still has his innocence. He has never had the full experience of being in love and having the intense good and bad that comes from it. That is, until he meets Victor. Notice that the program that Victor choreographed for Yuri mirrors their own relationship. Victor is the handsome stranger that comes into town and sweeps Yuri off his feet. And in the end, the stranger leaves. And that's what Yuri's biggest fear is, that Victor will leave him. And in those moments that Yuri does think Victor might go, Yuri gives some of the best performances of his career and of the show. It's as if Yuri thinks he has to be just as alluring to make him stay, but he doesn't know he already is in Victor's eyes. This all leads to the final scene of the series, Victor and Yuri skating together. The couple skate is usually performed by a man and a woman. It's a practice that is very intimate and built on trust. Trust that your partner will be there in step with you and catch you just at the right moments on your journey throughout the performance. It's such a great way to end the series, and to cleverly let the audience know that yes, these two are in something intimate together. His passionate love made Yuri grow up. It made him want to put in the effort and be the best that he can be. And because of that, you're really invested in these competitions, rooting for both Yuris and Victor to reach their goals. It's really great writing to accompany a good story. On top of that, it has some awesome animation and an amazing soundtrack that elevates this series to something much more than anyone was ever expecting. That's my review, and before we go, I just wanted to say thank you for watching, and a big thank you to our subscribers. I'm glad that you guys are seeming to like this content, and I'm kind of surprised that you want to hear my voice for long periods of time, but as a token of my appreciation, I wanted to do a small giveaway. Here we have Yuri and Victor pot figures. The winner will receive both. They'll be shipped together. Shipped together? To enter, all you have to be is a subscriber and to leave a comment on this video below. Let me know what you want me to do in the future and what you thought of this particular show. I'll announce the winner on the next video, which will be part 1 and 2 of the Legend of Korra comics and all that Korrasami goodness. That will be by the end of this month. And then in February, I'll be doing a 2-part series of the queer characters of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So if you haven't already, click that bell so you don't miss out on those. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it. And until next time, I'm Jess. I'll see you later.